Okay, consider this for a second. Every single time you jump on Wi-Fi, maybe listen to the radio, or even just your computer crunching numbers, you're like directly plugging into the legacy of this one guy from the 19th century, Heinrich Hertz.
It's pretty wild when you put it like that, isn't it? Not just history, but like now.
Exactly. And that's what we're doing today on the Deep Dive. We're really digging into his story. We've got some great source material detailing his life, his work.
Yeah, and the goal is, I think, to unpack how totally essential his journey was, for the world we live in right now. It's not just dusty old science.
Right. Prepare for some real aha moments, I think. We're looking at his struggles, his big discoveries, the whole package.
And it's fascinating because it's not just abstract science. These sources really show the human side, his background, the doubts he must have had, and how these, tiny sparks he created ended up changing absolutely everything about how we connect.
Absolutely. So where did it all start? That initial spark, you could say? He was born in Hamburg, 1857.
Yeah, 1857. And the family background sounds like they really valued, intellect, discipline.
Definitely. And he had these diverse interests early on, which I find interesting. Languages, Sanskrit, Arabic, Greek, but also practical stuff like carpentry, making things.
Yeah, building things. You almost sense that pull, don't you? The pressure maybe towards something practical like engineering versus this deep pull towards pure science, understanding how things work.
It makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Have you ever felt that kind of crossroads moment, that tension?
Oh, absolutely. That tension between let's say, the expected path and the passion. And that's often where the interesting stuff happens, I find.
Yeah.
And the sources mention this key moment where he talks to his father, right?
Yeah.
Confesses he really wants to go into understanding nature, physics.
It chooses physics and maths. Studies under Hermann von Helmholtz, a big name, in Munich and Berlin. That feels like a real leap of faith.
It totally was. A leap into the unknown, really.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the takeaway there.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to trust that inner curiosity, even if the path isn't clear or, safe.
Couldn't agree more. And the path he chose, definitely not easy. You had Maxwell's theories floating around about electromagnetic waves.
Right, theoretical.
But the scientific community, mostly skeptical. Like, okay, nice idea, but where's the proof?
Exactly. Show us the waves.
So imagine dedicating years, like Hertz did when he was a young professor at Karlsruhe Polytechnic. When was it, 1885 to 89?
Around there.
Trying to prove something invisible, something nobody had actually detected before. The sources paint this picture of him just plugging away experiment after experiment. Probably a lot of failures.
That's a huge challenge. How do you even design an experiment for that? Something you can't see, can't touch in the usual way.
Right.
And his setup, described in the material, was just ingenious. This oscillator thing with brass knobs and an induction coil.
Yeah.
And then the receiver was just a simple loop of wire. That's it.
So simple, but so clever.
It's like creating a ripple. You can't see the oscillator. And then having a tiny detector, the wire loop that shows you the ripple pass by.
Oh.
By seeing a tiny spark jump across a gap in that loop. He used his understanding of electromagnetism to know that if the waves existed, then they should induce this spark. It's elegant, really. Pure brain power and persistence.
Oh, wow. And that moment when he finally saw that spark must have been incredible.
Electrifying, you could say.
Yeah. The sources say catching lightning in a bottle. It really connects, when you've struggled with something, doubted yourself, and then bam, the insight hits.
Totally. That breakthrough feeling. It shows that sticking with it, even when things feel impossible, can really pay off.
Yeah. But it wasn't instant acceptance, was it? The sources mention resistance.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Science can be conservative. People get attached to the old ways of thinking, the established paradigms. It takes time for revolutionary ideas to sink in.
And there was that mention of David Hughes, who apparently saw similar effects earlier but wasn't really recognized for it.
Right, which happens sometimes. Timing, context, how it's presented. It all plays a role in whether a discovery gets picked up.
And then there's Hertz himself, famously saying his discovery was of no use whatsoever.
I know. It's almost unbelievable now.
Seriously, did he genuinely not see radio, TV, Wi-Fi, all of it? Or could he just not imagine it yet?
It's hard to say for sure, but it highlights something important about, basic research. Often the goal isn't an immediate application. It's just finding out, pushing the boundaries of what we know.
Driven by pure curiosity.
Exactly. And then later, sometimes much later, people figure out what to do with that knowledge.
Yeah.
His useless ways literally underpin our entire wireless world.
A world he never got to see in that way. His work didn't stop there, though. He moved to the University of Bonn.
Yep, kept researching. Looked into electricity and gases, the photoelectric effect. Another hugely important discovery, actually.
But then the story takes a sad turn. His health started failing. Vasculitis, the sources say.
Yeah, and he died so young. 36. Just tragic.
It really makes you stop and think. How do you measure a life? Is it just the years, or is it the impact you make in the time you have?
That's a profound question. His life was short, no doubt.
Yeah.
But the impact, immense. It's still echoing.
Absolutely. I mean, the proof is right there in the language we use, the unit of frequency, the hertz, named after him in what, 1930?
Yep, by the International Electrotechnical Commission. Official recognition.
So every time you see many hertz or gigahertz on your radio dial or your Wi-Fi router, computer specs, that's him.
It's literally, as the sources put it, the heartbeat of the modern age. His foundational work.
It really is. And stepping back, his story is more than just physics, isn't it? It's about courage, challenging what people think is possible.
Resilience, too. Sticking with it despite the doubts, the failures, humility even.
It kind of makes you wonder what other invisible waves are out there. Maybe not electromagnetic, but, in other fields. What ideas are just waiting to be discovered?
What accepted boundaries need pushing? That's a great question.
There's that quote mentioned in the sources. It is not the light we see, but the light we seek that defines our journey.
I like that. Hertz was definitely seeking a light nobody else could see yet. And look where it led.
Yeah. It makes you ask yourself, doesn't it? What light are you seeking? What are you trying to figure out, even if it seems impossible right now?
Exactly.
So, wrapping this up, we've seen Heinrich Hertz starting with that internal conflict, pushing past skepticism.
A lot of skepticism.
And through sheer brilliance and persistence, proving the existence of electromagnetic waves.
Waves he maybe didn't even realize would change everything.
Right. And even though his life was cut short, his legacy is just everywhere. And the technology you're probably using to listen to this right now.
A testament to chasing down that fundamental curiosity.
So the thought to maybe leave people with, inspired by Hertz, is what sparks are you ignoring?
Good one. What little flicker of an idea, what challenge that seems too big?
Could you tackle it with that same kind of Hertzian determination? That blend of smarts and just not giving up?
Every big breakthrough starts somewhere small, right? A question. A doubt about the way things are.
Absolutely. It starts with that single spark, like Hertz's. Maybe the takeaway is,
Yeah.
be that spark in whatever it is you do.